Hebrews 4 and verse 9 says, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God. No matter what we may be going through, there's a rest, there's a place of rest for the children of God. We can enter into that place of rest because it's a part of our inheritance. All hell may be let loose around us, but we can enter into that place of rest where we know the presence of God. It may even be in a time of sickness or some other attack of the enemy, but there is that place of rest. I remember when August 1980, whenever I was so ill, that I just entered into that place of rest, totally dependent upon the Lord. The result or the outcome didn't trouble me in any shape or form. And the result was that God raised me from the dead. There's a place of rest that we can enter into, and we can close the troublesome thoughts of the devil out of our mind. And we can enter into that place of rest where we just allow the Word of God and the promises of God to flow through our spirit and through our mind continually. For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as God did from his. That place of rest that we find in God is whenever we get away from trying to do something in our own power or in our own way of thinking. We get away from trying to change the circumstance by our own strength, our own energy, our own thoughts, and we just rely and we cease from our own works and we trust totally and completely on the work of God. The first thing that will bring us into, and this is what God spoke to me during the praise and worship this morning. I hadn't even thought of it talking about this today. Whenever we enter into that place of rest and we're relying completely upon the finished work of the cross, we're relying completely upon the benefits of this great and wonderful salvation. It lifts us out of the place where we fear the judgment of God. And I believe there's many people of God today, and they're being hindered because they've been taught that a lot of things that happens today is the judgment of God. We are in the dispensation of grace right now. There will be a day of judgment for the believer, where we'll stand before the judgment seat of Christ and will be judged for the good and the bad that we have done. The wicked will be judged and sentenced to eternity in hell. But right now we are in the dispensation of grace. Just keep your finger in there and turn back to the Gospel of John 10 and verse 10. Because it tells us there very plainly what the occupation of the devil is. Now, I have heard preachers blame God for the destruction of the enemy. John 10 and 10 tells us that the thief cometh not, that's the devil, comes for no other reason but for to steal, to kill, and destroy. That's the occupation of the enemy. But Jesus said, I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly.